Welcome everybody to Make It Make Sense. I'm your host, Monique Pressley. Happy Monday. This is the day of the week that we reserve for Monday motivation. No matter what else is going on in the world, there are things that are positive. There are things that are good. Dare I say, there are even some things that are pure that we can focus on. And I started this show not just to provide you information that you could rely upon, but also inspiration that you could rely upon. For those who don't know, I am an ordained minister, and faith is at the root of so much of the work that I do in community, whether it is legal work, social justice work, civil rights work, work to assist those who are least fortunate. I am following some principles. So happy belated Resurrection Sunday. Happy Easter. I hope you had a wonderful time if you observe it, spending it whatever way you want to spend it. And I hope you got some rest and some family time or some friend time or some, as I said, whatever you want time over the weekend. And perhaps you're still even on break today for Easter Monday. I certainly have kids on break. I've directed that they scatter so that I can have this time with you. And in the midst of everything that's going on, one of the words that keeps popping up for me ever since maybe about over a year ago, when I was in an interview with wealth coach Deborah Owens. Look her up if you're looking to find a good way to invest, especially if you're a woman, a Black woman, you're new to investing, you want to secure yourself in insecure times. She's an excellent person for that, rooted in years and years and years of investment banking experience, now doing her own thing, consulting, and she's helped, I dare say, thousands of women at this point to get control of their finances and their financial portfolio and their financial futures for that and for that of their families. But we were talking about the stock market and talking about things that were going on in that regard. And she said something to me that has stuck with me, not just because it matters in terms of the stock market, but because of all of the other ways that you can apply it. She said, Monique, you have to always recognize the opportunity in the volatility. We're looking for the ways that we can recognize, take advantage of, and act upon the opportunity in the volatility. Now, for those of you who know what volatility means, I don't have to tell you that we're in some volatile times, but I, of course, facts and data girl here, want to start with a definition. And this definition is provided by the Cambridge Dictionary. Volatility is the quality or state of being likely to change suddenly, especially by becoming worse. Let's say that again. The quality or state of being likely to change suddenly, especially by becoming worse. Some examples are volatility of a political situation, worries about volatility in the economy, or market price, currency, volatility. We have seen all three of those, right? In the past weeks, in the past months, I dare say in the past years, there's been one thing after another. If we date back to 5 years ago, when we knew we were entering into COVID, and all of the changes, the sudden changes for the worse that we had to deal with. And that's volatility, that's shaking. That's having to address the unexpected and figure out what we're going to do in it. We saw, because of that, then and now, volatility in the markets. We're seeing now, not because of anything that's happening like a pandemic, but because of failed leadership, because of insecure and chaotic leadership, we're again seeing volatility in the market, seeing volatility in the economy. We've seen the stock market just crashing and crashing, slumping and going up for a bit and slumping again. We've seen world markets be affected by declarations of tariffs. We ended up in the tariff war we never asked for, and that was completely avoidable. All of those things are happening in the economy, but there are other things that are volatile because of it. We have seen our civil rights community being dealt blow after blow, sudden changes that are for the worse. We have seen women due to the Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade, and because of other actions now on behalf of this new administration who don't have security, decision-making, autonomy in our own bodies. And that is a sudden change that is for the worse for many women across this country. There are states that have taken it upon themselves to pass laws to secure those rights, but there are other areas where women are afraid, women are scared, young women, middle-aged women, old women who are raising children and grandchildren don't know what to do. Those are sudden changes, volatility. We've seen changes in food security, right? We've seen prices skyrocket due to global inflation, and then again due to things that this administration has done that have not helped, that have made things worse instead. When you've got to choose between whether you're going to get medicine, whether you're going to be able to afford groceries, what kind of groceries you can get. When you look in there and you used to be able to get a lot of food items for $50 and now you can only get a couple of things and you're trying to feed a family of 5. Those are all the quality or state of being likely to change suddenly, especially by things becoming worse. We're seeing changes for the worse and suddenly. And frankly, that does something to your mental. That instills a type of fear and a type of change that nobody really wants to deal with. But as a crisis manager and a risk manager, I'm telling you, you've got to be ready for it. And one of the ways that I believe you can be ready for it is by knowing that there are opportunities for you as an individual, whether it's as an investor or whether it's as a public servant or whether it's someone in corporate America, if you're working in a nonprofit, if you're seeking purpose, there are opportunities, there are openings for you to make your standing better in worsening times. So I'm going to give you a few ways that that's true, and then I am going to get out of your way for the day. One of the first ways that you can hopefully experience bettering times is by recognizing that there are opportunities in the volatility, recognizing that no matter what it is that you are actually dealing with, that there are people who need your help. And I want to try to put, if I can, I want to share my screen. Okay. So first is this: there will always be opportunity where there is volatility. If the circumstances have volition, if there is sudden change, there will always be opportunity where there is volatility. So if you're looking at a circumstance where something is going on, and it's unexpected, then what you're going to be doing is also looking for the ways that you can change it, looking for the ways that you can improve it. There are always going to be openings there for somebody who is not just trying to be reactionary. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is bad. Oh, this is terrible. You're going to always be looking for ways that you can get in and utilize your set skills. You know, maybe you are in an area where there's a food desert and you have agriculture background, you have farming background. Maybe you are you are displaced from your native homeland where you learn those skills, and now you're in a city and you have an opportunity to teach people there what it is like to have an opportunity and a volatility by answering the scarcity food question. Maybe you are someone who is now retired. You practiced law for years, but you recognize that there are all kinds of people. There are immigrants, there are people who are fighting to stay in this country, who are here legally, who are facing unknown circumstances, and you can volunteer your time. You know, maybe you practice law, no longer practice, you're a consultant, or you're just enjoying retirement, but there's need of you. So there is an opportunity for you to use skills that you haven't used before. And producers, if we can put these on the screen, that would be great. Number one is there will always be opportunity where there is volatility. But if you're looking for those opportunities, I would say number two, your purpose is in your problem. Your purpose is in your problem. There are times when I mentor people and they're always trying to figure out, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What am I here for? What is it that God intends to do with me? I'm, just kind of loitering around, not really knowing from day to day. You're either employed or you're still a student and you're trying to figure out, why am I here? What is it that I'm here to do now? I was fortunate that I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer from a very young age, and I knew that I wanted to help people, that I wanted to be involved in social justice and civil rights, and by young age I mean 7. So part of what my purpose was presented to me, and my desires at a very young age, but it doesn't have to be that way. Doesn't have to be that way. You can be exploring all the way through going to college, or whether you want to go to college, or whether you want to enter the workforce. You can be exploring and re-exploring after you finished one career path and you're wondering, okay, I'm 55, I'm 60. What is it I'm supposed to do with the rest of these years? People are living longer and longer and want to have quality in what they do on the earth. Well, listen, let me tell you, your purpose is in your problem. I was in church over the weekend, and my pastor, Dr. Sharon Harrington Staples, was talking about the fact that you're never in a problem for nothing. Like, you're never just dealing with something that doesn't have a greater purpose, that's not meant to show you something. I think that her title was Made for the Moment, and you really are. And if you look at whatever is going on with you through the lens of, what is this meant to show me? What is this meant to teach me? What am I meant to do about it? Then it will become clearer and clearer to you that there is purpose in your problem. One of the easiest examples for me, it's Autism Awareness Month. This month, awareness, inclusion, acceptance. I have a son on the autism spectrum, and he was diagnosed a little bit before he was 2 years old. And one of the things that I dealt with first on is, I'm taking care of me and mine. I'm figuring out what needs to be done for my son. How do I get him diagnosed? How do I get treated? How do I get therapies on board? Where's it going to go to school? And if I wasn't talking to somebody who was a part of the solution for that, who could help me figure those things out, I wasn't talking about it at all. I mean, not family members, not friends, nobody. If I couldn't trust you to, one, be supportive and positive and have a, this is what the reports say, but this is what God says mentality about my son, we weren't talking about it. And then second, if you weren't part of our solution system, if you weren't part of our core team of how we figured things out, I wasn't talking about it. But what I didn't want to realize at that point is that situation, all of the problems that I was facing because of having to refigure what it meant to be a first-time mom, to go through milestone steps with my child, to figure out what was necessary and what was needed, and all of the different ways that there were challenges in getting that accomplished. There was purpose for me in it, because I wasn't a mom without education, a mom without resources, a mom without means, a mom without community, a mom without connections. I had all those things, and that's not every family. And so it very shortly became not just what I could do or we could do for our son. It became, what are we called to do for other families similarly situated, without access to an opportunity to do as much as we could. So that's turned into fundraising for autism awareness and autism issues. It's turned into annual events at our church to help in the surrounding community. We're doing one this Sunday, the annual event at the Temple of Praise. You can go to Temple of Praise on Instagram or on Facebook and look up the information about that. And I'll be sharing, bringing information for the community and bringing treats for the kids. Everybody's wearing blue. And so all of these things that are happening, I've worked in conjunction with organizations like Autism Speaks. I've worked with Ariva Martin, who was on the show this past Friday. Last year, We had an autism candle that we were selling with the proceeds to go to her organization, Special Needs Network. And so every year there's been something. We participate in the Best Buddies program, but none of that was in my plan. None of that was in my plan. My original plan, if you go back to 2005, no ma'am, no sir. But purpose. The purpose was resurrected through the problem. Third, you're going to have flexibility and fluidity as you determine the outcome. It really is up to you. Like, how flexible are you? Are you going to try to stick to, this is what I was meant to do? I'm supposed to be a lawyer my whole life. I'm supposed to have perfect children. I'm not supposed to be dealing with any adverse circumstances. I'm supposed to be staying in the same job. I'm supposed to be staying in the same city. I'm supposed to be doing all these same things. No. Flexibility and fluidity determine your outcome. They determine your outcome in business. They determine your outcome in relationships. And they for sure determine your outcome when you're trying to figure out what your purpose is in the earth. You're going to have to be able to bend some, babe. You're going to have to be able to be willing to refigure, imagine anew what your life is going to be. And these are people who deal with all kinds of adverse circumstances, who have had unexpected death in the family, people who have lost everything in fires like what we saw in the Los Angeles area, people who, because of hurricanes or other catastrophic events, have had to reimagine their lives. But with flexibility and fluidity determining your outcome, you get to decide, are you going to be rigid? And then when something happens that you don't imagine is going to happen, you break? Or are you going to be fluid and going to be flexible such that you can kind of go with the current of the times and enable that divine space to govern what you do next? Fourth, people who solve problems always eat. You always gonna eat. If you're a problem solver, because there are always problems. I don't have to tell you that. It's not just your problems. It's not just the ones that are for your purpose. It's being able to wake up to the problems around you and say, whoa, I see that happening. There's something that I can do about that. People are always looking for not just the problem diagnosers, not just the problem identifiers, but the problem solver. And that's a good point for your team as well. If you're a team member and you're reporting to somebody else who's the visionary at the top, they don't need you bringing them problems that you don't have solutions for already. When you identify the problem, you're immediately coming up with the troubleshooting for the problem. You're just coming and saying, this is happening. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? No, you're coming saying this is happening and I believe that we can do this and this and this, or I'm researching this and this and this, or I'm looking at it. I don't have the answer for you yet, but I'm seeking the advice of others on this and this and this. Trust me. As somebody running multiple companies who has led major litigation teams, crisis management teams, run things for organizations, we need the problem solvers. Yes, I need the problem flaggers and I need the problem identifiers, but then we need the troubleshooters. Or what's the point? We just gonna sit in it? No. So people who solve problems will always eat. You will always have funding. You will always have a job. You will always have contracts. You will always have careers. You will always have something to do that is bringing you direct benefit because you're making life better for those around you. And I'm here to tell you, the other thing about it is, and President Obama always said this, and it's the final thing that I'm going to say to you today. Number 5, you are the solution you seek. You are the solution. So if you are always identifying problems and you're wondering, you're looking around and you're like, I just don't understand. I don't understand why this is configured in this way. It makes no sense. I don't understand why every time I'm trying to order something, I've got to go 20 miles away in order to, or I don't understand why this pet service isn't doing, or I don't understand why this cleaning company hasn't figured out how. You're the solution. You're looking at it every day and it's bothering you. And if it's bothering you, it's not just bothering you. You are the solution you seek. There may be a company just waiting, or an investor just waiting for you to put that deck together and pitch the problem with the solution and what the funding is going to require to get it done and how many people you're going to need on your team. And ChatGPT makes putting that deck together the easiest thing in the world. You are the solution. Maybe there are people in your own community who are suffering the same way you were suffering until you figured something out for yourself. And it's time for you to expand it so that you can aid your neighborhood, your community, and then maybe your city, your state, this country, the world. It happens quickly once you decide to get in the arena, to get in the way. As Congressman John Lewis would always say, to get in some good trouble. Once you decide that you're in, you'd be surprised the wind that can come behind your effort and your endeavor. You know, lots of people are afraid right now, and rightly so. Lots of people are afraid right now. They're afraid of what they're going to do, how they're going to survive, how they're going to take care of their families, whether their portfolios are safe, whether the job is secure, all of the things. There's fear in every area right now, but the fear does not have to destabilize you. The fear does not have to incapacitate you. And the other thing about fear is it doesn't exist at the same time as Thanksgiving. It neurologically is impossible. I bring this up. Yeah, I don't know really of a time that I've spoken, especially to young people, that I haven't said this. It is impossible. Did you know that it is impossible for fear and gratitude, for anxiety and gratitude to exist at the same time in your brain? It is impossible for them to exist at the same time in your brain. Neurologically, there's been all kinds of studies on it. Ain't God all right? I just love it that when you're worried, when you're anxious, when you're afraid, if you start thinking of and speaking out loud things you are thankful for. I'm thankful for this very breath. I'm thankful that I have an opportunity to go to work today, even though I don't like my job. I'm thankful that I had breakfast this morning and I was able to use transportation to get my kids to school on time. I'm thankful. I can remember times when I wasn't in my right mind, but I'm in my right mind today. At least I'm in a portion of my right mind today. I have friends today. I have a partner to spend life with today. I have community. I have places that I can serve today. Just thankful. Thankful. The clothes on your back. Thankful. In your brain, the way you are wired, the anxiety, the fear exits when the thankfulness enters. So use that trick. Use it frequently. Not just a lot of people get up in the morning, do their morning meditation, do their morning thankfulness. No, throughout the day, when that anxiety starts coming in, it needs to really switch. Whether you are a faith believer or not, you can still be thankful. You can be thankful for the goodness that the universe is showing you. Because you can look around, it doesn't take much to see that there are other people that are not so fortunate, that are not situated in the same way. And sometimes, yes, your thankfulness is by comparison. And then you're freed up to get in and help because you've gotten outside of your own way. You've gotten outside of that stinking thinking that is controlling the way you look at your day, your week, your life, and you're starting to think about ways that you can help others. And let me tell you, it makes everything better once you get busy. When you get busy, it makes everything better because you're not spending your time just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. Once you start doing something with your two hands, and then you put your two hands with two more hands, and you put those two more hands with two more hands, and you are a part of a network of community that is helping others, time goes faster, days get lighter, and you start being able to have some small wins that you can be thankful for, that you can start building up rocks, right? Rocks of building blocks of what you are doing, not just to be in the problem, but to be part of the solution. Now, there are people all around the world today who are mourning. And I was raised Roman Catholic, and I heard from my mom early this morning because if you don't know, within the past few hours, we have lost one of the preeminent faith leaders, world leaders of our time, and truly the first of his kind. Pope Francis has transitioned and gone on to be an ancestor. I don't know what your faith system believes about what happens to people when they leave this earth or where they go. But Pope Francis, during his time on this earth, he was the first Latino Pope to serve as the head of the Roman Catholic Church. He focused his time on the poor and centering what it means to be living a life of service, to be leaning in toward peace. He was one of the most progressive popes on any number of issues, including issues of women and women in leadership, including issues of the Roman Catholic Church stance on many issues of the time. And we found many people turning their direction back, not just toward the Catholic Church, but toward faith, because of his outreach and inreach, and because of his public stances that in many ways went against the grain. I picked one of my favorite quotes, which I want to share with you because I think that it really matters during these times. A favorite quote of mine of Pope Francis, and he said, "Have the courage to swim against the tide, and also have the courage to be happy." Don't we need both of those right now? Don't we need the courage right now to swim against the tide, as we've been talking about this whole time we've been doing Motivation Monday, to recognize that, yes, while there are a lot of problems, you can be the solution to the problem, to recognize that while there is volatility, there are opportunities in the volatility, to recognize that while many people are afraid, you can still be the person who takes action in the midst of fearful times, that while many people are being scared into silence, while they are capitulating and agreeing in advance, bending over to the threat of autocracy, that you can be, as an organization, as a company, as an individual, someone who swims against that tide and says, no, it's not going to be me. This doesn't have to be my circumstance for me to care, for me to speak out, for me to want to do for others. And those are all things that Pope Francis stood for. Those are all things that he believed in. And I'm hoping this day that while we have so many things that we are struggling with, that we are fighting to overcome, that we want to be inspiring others to overcome, I am hoping this day that we will remember this and so many other of his words. You can look up famous quotes of his and speeches of his and just allow it to nourish you throughout today, throughout the week, throughout the coming weeks and coming months, because there really has never been one like him. And he surely in the earth will be missed, but I know that his spirit is going to be with us always. So I'm devoting this episode of Make It Make Sense to him. That's all I have for you today. I am so thankful that you are joining and continuing to join us. Please share that we're meeting here Mondays at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on YouTube. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Monique Pressley channel. Please like the shows. Go back and catch up on the shows that you've missed. Please like them. Please share them. And frankly, that's the best way that you can help all of us, by utilizing your own platform to share good news, to share useful information, to share facts, to share data, to share trusted expertise and opinions. We're counting on you guys. We're all we got. And I hope that we can all be in this together so that we can move forward, thriving, not just surviving, creating a better life for us all. Until tomorrow, Monday, motivation is a wrap. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll be back with an exciting guest. I can't even share it yet, but I'm excited about it. We'll be back tomorrow with an exciting guest, noon Eastern. Until then, stay safe out there.